Podcast Studios, Eric, the Turf Teacher Jones, with my lovely co-host, Jennifer, the Turf Ed Bofford. What's going on, baby? I love you so much. Always look forward to this Monday night doing the show with you.
I do too. Everything we do every week is built up to this moment.
It is. It is. And what a crazy snowy day here across the country, and definitely to our neighbors in the north, Virginia, Lexington, Lexington, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. Everybody up there got hit hard, but we get just a little bit here in Winston-Salem, and the world shuts down big time. So anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Sorry we were a little bit late getting online. Just a little bit of technical difficulties, but here we're doing the 11th episode here on Boots on Ground Radio. So check us out, bootsongroundradio.com, or we're streaming live to my Facebook. We're on your Facebook too, right?
Well, I share your page to my page.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're live on the Turf Teacher YouTube page tonight. So, but anyway, babe, what is it that we're going to talk about? Because you were telling me a little bit earlier about the, restructuring, reorganizing, relationship, like the whole, it was just amazing how quick you can come up with all these good ideas.
Well, I don't know if it's just, it's a quick thing for me to come up with, but I do come up with it. We were talking about it earlier today. Like, what are we going to talk about tonight? You know, true and tried media people, personalities, you know, when they do these things, they take time, come up with content. They actually practice before the live comes on. But because we are
so busy,
amateurs at best.
It's so busy.
And busy, you know, running how many businesses and things going on, you know, it's tough for us to
breathe. Sleep.
That's a good question. The question is, do we really have time to breathe and sleep?
Yeah, do we really have time to do a podcast at a radio station? But you know, we do it. We're having fun. We love it, and I just don't see us doing anything else.
I enjoy this time with you.
Yes, 100%.
I enjoy getting to do this with you.
Yes, I love it.
I do too.
I love it.
But I did come up with 4 keywords to discuss tonight. You know, it is 2025. We're how many
January
days are we
6th.
in?
We're almost 1 week in.
Yeah, 6 days in.
Yeah.
To the brand new year.
So tomorrow will be day 7. So, a week. Tomorrow was, New Year's Eve. So we are 1 week in. We only got 51 weeks. We got how many? Well, we got 354 days to Christmas. And we got 287 days to Equip Expo. We keep that on the calendar right here beside me because that time of year is just our favorite. It's unreal. And I keep getting text messages from you.
Oh, is it coming from me? Oh, no wonder. I was texting my son. I'm sending them to you. Oh, my goodness.
I'm sitting right here beside you.
No wonder he wasn't paying me any attention because I was texting you and I wasn't texting him. Our tech guru, which we're so thankful to have. I mean, we're really blessed to have him as part of this. So, Jared,
J-Rod, I call him.
My oldest son, Jared, is quite the guru when it comes to computers and electronics, and he's amazing.
Audio-visual.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he has, we're almost legit.
We are. We're getting
when
real
it comes
legit.
to this, like, we are almost legit at what we're doing. You know, if people could see the room, we have a monitor.
We can actually we're looking right at ourselves on the monitor, so we can see how beautiful she is and how dorky I am. So, but
he was saying, "Do we want to show it?" I mean, the room. The room is kind of.
Yeah,
we really didn't take a whole lot of time to
prep it, except for where we're sitting at right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's we did share a behind the scenes picture on our stories. Like I have it and you have it on our Facebook stories.
That's true.
I need to pull my live back up on here because I want to see who's on here. So I brought my iPad and I thought I would like play our live from my iPad, but it's not working out the way I wanted it to. So I think I'm just going to do it from my phone because I like to see when people are making comments. So it's really kind of hard to do when it's on the iPad. It's not like the format of it is not coming up the way I like it. So I'm going to go over here to your page and I'm going to open up the live and there we are. So now I need to turn my volume down. Perfect. And I'm just going to sit that up right here where I can see. All right. I like to be able to see what's going on Facebook when it comes to who's interacting, who's watching.
See,
Josh,
Mom's watching and Mr. Charles.
I wonder if I turn it this way.
If you probably turned it off and turned it back on.
Well, you know, the iPad, it's different. So I'm going to prop my phone up because I think that'll work. But
What'd Josh say? I can't read it.
Josh says, hey, guys, hope you've had a great evening. Just finished a 16-hour snowplow route done.
I saw that, dude.
Not envious of
I saw your post on Facebook, man. Good deal. You had the old Big Red running. I think it's what you call your truck. I think that's what he calls it. But that's awesome.
I'm
dude.
not friends with him on Facebook. Sorry, Josh. We're not friends.
Josh, it's good, dude.
Maybe if I'm friends with all your friends, I could see the things that you discuss on these calls, on these podcasts, rather.
Yep.
So I can say hello to people. Ted Lemon says hi.
Hey, Ted. What's up, bud?
I see Mom Jones is watching with us.
Mama Jones, she's ready to eat.
Mama Jones, I know.
Cooking.
So in preparations on Monday, you know, it's typically my day off from my job. You know, I have a job outside of the businesses that we run. And I had to go in today, and it was quite a day. The weather was not nice to us at all this morning. Josh, we don't have snow, but and he said, yeah, Big Red. We don't have snow, but we got freezing rain this morning. It started like 4 a.m.
and it snowed yesterday.
Well, it did snow, and your yard was still white this morning, and the driveway was still covered, and my car was still covered. And this morning, there was ice on the trees and just ice everywhere. And you just were not comfortable with me driving into work. So you made sure that I got there safe and sound today. So I went in a little later today for inventory. And then I got there.
Yeah, but you were there an hour.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
not bad.
Hour. No, it wasn't bad at all. But our typical Mondays are you're at the school teaching and I'm off on Mondays, but today was a little different. School got called off because of the weather.
Yeah.
And I had to go in actually on my day off to do a last minute inventory that we were having auditing done for us. I had to go in and do that. And they were painting my center. So I had painters all around me. My center was all upside down. Yeah. So it was an unusual Monday. And then we had grocery shopping to do for dinner tonight. Had a couple errands to run. And guys, I'm telling you, when you're trying to plan, I don't care how much you plan, there's always going to be something last minute happen. You know, we had everything ready to go. Timers were set. I mean, we were sitting here at 7 o'clock, and then we realized we didn't have the camera hooked up to the caster in order for sound to run through our lives and everything else. So,
to be put on Facebook and YouTube, and it would have still been on the radio station live, but it was just not being able to broadcast to the socials. So,
and then going grocery shopping, we got things to cook for dinner tonight. That's in the oven right now, staying warm. But by the time we got everything done and got in, it was like, okay, we're just going to have to wait and eat till after the podcast because it just wasn't going to be ready in time. But isn't that the way how everything goes? Like
our life, yes. Yes.
It's always something.
Yes.
It's always something. I mean, every time. Josh said they got an average on 10 to 12.
10 to 12. Now, Josh, are y'all having another storm coming in? Like, we're expecting more inclement weather this coming Friday, Saturday. So what does it look for you guys?
Yeah, that's it's to be determined what's going to happen here in North Carolina. I'm a little sad because we were literally right on the edge of the storm that came through. If it had just come over to the south a little bit more, we would have got dumped on.
It was, and my daughter was at the University of Lynchburg last year in Virginia, and they got hit heavy with snow there in Lynchburg, Virginia. And so, anything down to just about the North Carolina line was a lot of snow.
Yeah.
So.
It snowed yesterday afternoon. You were out, assessing roads and
slinging salt.
And your cruise didn't start till noon today. I mean, you called your cruise off until noon and made sure that the rain had stopped and everybody was here on time and y'all could get everything going. But y'all didn't get out till noon today. Yeah. And then y'all were only out for a couple hours because everything was still wet and wasn't the most safest of conditions to be.
No, but it was. We had to, per contract, we had to get some greenery, including garland and wreaths down, and unplug several trees in a park, and then we have a couple weeks to actually get those lights down. But we had to get all the greenery down, and so a few of the guys came in and went and did that, and I took you to work, and then we stopped and got the stuffed bell peppers, which I'm looking forward to eating.
Mac and cheese.
Yep.
It looked good. It smelled good. It's in the oven warm.
We got to have some buttered toast.
I know. We did not get any buttered toast.
We'll make that happen.
Guys, we're sitting here talking about what we should and shouldn't have done for dinner tonight. What's going on with y'all?
Yeah,
what's going on with everybody else's dinner on Monday night? What do y'all do on Mondays? What do your Mondays look like?
That's the most important is our listeners. So
yeah, I'd be curious to know what everybody does on a Monday night. Like what does your day consist of, and how do you plan meals? Do you meal plan, or do you basically,
our meal planning is going out to eat,
going off the cuff, going out to eat, last minute decisions?
Yes,
late night dinners.
It's weird that we're actually eating here tonight. Because when's the last time we ate here?
It's probably been a month.
Yeah.
Since we've eaten here on Monday nights.
We never eat at your house. Very seldom. It's always out.
Yeah.
Just because how busy we are. So, but anyway, back to what we are going to talk about.
Well, we wrapped up December. We've got some planning in motion for our podcast for the year. Like we said last week, talking to some people, getting some people to come onto the call and doing some interviews with some other business owners. And there's just some planning in the works here. But tonight, we were talking about today as we were out and about, what are we going to talk about tonight? And it's funny how the day gets started. One little thing, you don't really realize how much that impacts your thoughts for the day. But that
rest of the day.
But it did. It impacted the thoughts for the rest of my day, which led into the key words that I came up with. So the key words that I came up with was resolution, because it's a brand new year. And in every new year, everybody comes up with a resolution. Some people come up with several.
And it's like, I don't know, do we call it a resolution? Like it needs, I don't know. I remember reading about that one time, that as a resolution, it's things that we should be doing all year long anyway. But
so I looked up the definitions of resolution. I texted them to my son. So let's see if he was able to get them onto the background. Nope, he said he wasn't. He can, he just didn't have time.
Yeah.
But I looked up the definitions, and I'm all about getting a keyword, looking at the definition, and then applying that to where my thought process is going. And I sent these keywords to Jared. One of them, the very first one, was resolution. And it's funny what you was talking about resolution. There was like 6 different definitions, but I only screenshot the first top 5 because I couldn't get all 6 of them in the screenshot. But the first one is a firm decision to do or not to do something. It's a firm decision to do or not to do something. So I'm just curious, Eric, have you set any resolutions for this year?
I did.
What's your resolution?
Well, the one that I was wanting to do, but I decided not to do at last minute. Actually, I changed my mind New Year's Eve that I was going to quit drinking Mr. Pibb.
Well, what's happened here? Look, well, they're in our Husqvarna koozies. But look, it's a Mr. Pibb.
Pibb Extra. But I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up the Mr. Pibb. But no, on a personal note, I wanted to make sure I read the devotionals every day. And speaking of, I've got here the Boots on Ground by Randy Wells, which is daily devotions for the Christian soldier. So anybody, you don't necessarily have to have been in the military to have this, but this book which was given to me by your sister and brother-in-law.
Yep.
So I really appreciate Jake and
which I will
them
say,
giving that to me.
I will say, you have stuck to your resolution. Every day you have read your Bible and devotions. And my brother gave you one. You don't have it out here, but it was called Walking with God. And you do that in the morning, and then at night you're doing the boots on ground.
Yeah.
So I think, but this is a pretty cool thing. I don't know if y'all could see that, but it's boots on the ground.
Yeah.
But she saw that because of your boots on ground radio, and she thought how appropriate this was for you. And, this gentleman was in the military.
Yep.
I'm sure he has his whole
I read
story in here. And
I think he was he retired Air Force and was just just a great guy. And him and his wife actually put this together and really sought their ministers' expertise when it came to this. So
my sister said, "Yay, boots on the ground." Yeah, he's really enjoying that, Trish. That that was definitely a well-intentional and well-given gift.
I love your sister and her husband Jake, Trish and Jake are awesome, and your brother and his wife are super cool. So
I have a cool family.
You do. I
do. I have a cool family. I'm thankful for my family. They have stuck out a lot with me. They've been there and stuck through a lot. Of course, I've been through a lot with my family too. So I'm thankful for my family. We was talking about resolutions. My resolution is every year I want to focus on my devotions. Mm-hmm. We get so busy, and for me, feeding my spiritual heart, my spiritual life is important to keep that in line. And I had a lady from my previous church that I went to gave me this devotional, and my thoughts today came from my devotion this morning. But this devotional is called Sing Beautiful Again. And it's funny because one of the key words I have wrote down falls right in line with Sing Beautiful Again. So we talked about resolutions, and your resolution is you wanted to read your devotional every day and make that a big thing. And for me, that was mine too. And
it's amazing how much more peaceful and calm I am by just doing that for 2 minutes a day.
I know.
You've even noticed that, like, I'm getting along so much better with the employees, especially my nephew. Like, everything is, when you read the Word of God, everything falls in place. It just runs smooth. So
it's everything you're saying is going right along with everything that I wrote down today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how all that works.
And you even say, like, when I'm a different person when I walk out of church.
Oh, you are? Yeah, I can see a whole different personality. You're still the same Eric. You're just a lot more focused, a lot more, there's another word I wanted to use and it just flittered.
Devoted.
Well, you are, but
it brightens me up.
It does.
It's which I'm guys, I am full of life no matter what. But when I go and hear Darren Osborne preach, there's just a good feeling, a calmness, and a happiness that comes over me.
You're more centered. That's the word I wanted to use. It's something about church and the Bible and focusing on those things and how well it does center you. Yeah. I feel out of sync when I'm not in my Bible. And
I saw you reading last night. Or was it this morning?
It was this morning.
Yeah, you just opened up your books, and we got to hang out pretty much all day today, just because it was icy, and I saw you sitting there reading, and you had like both your devotionals and your Bible open, and you were taking notes, and it's just a good feeling to see that.
Well, I appreciate it. It's not something I do just for everybody to see and hear about, but sometimes if I find something really good in a devotional, I'll share it on my personal Facebook. But I'll be honest with you, with everything I've been through, my devotion time, my private time with the Lord by myself has been what has carried me through a lot, and my personal walk. But resolution's a firm decision to do or not to do something, and we talked about our resolutions. The other word, so I came up with 4 key words for tonight. First one was resolution. And it's funny how they all start with an R-E. The second one is rebuild. And I was just showing you my devotional called Seeing Beautiful Again. And it's by Lisa Turker. She's amazing. If you want to know anything about her, just Google her. But she's Proverbs 31 Ministries. She's amazing. She's written many books and many devotionals, and I have followed a lot of hers. But this one is Seeing Beautiful Again, which falls under rebuilding. And I picked every year I try to pick a word, and my word this year was rebuild. It's time to rebuild. And I picked that word, and that was one of the key words we were going to talk about tonight was rebuilding. And rebuilding means to build again after damaged or destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I don't like to dive too deep into my personal life, even though you and I are very transparent on Facebook.
100%.
And social media. I mean, we don't share everything, but we share quite a lot.
We do, but it's fun. Everything that we share, it's just like you made that post the other day. You're like, I think people are getting tired of seeing us, and people were commenting. I had some customers comment like, "No, we love it. Like you're just having fun, and that's what we hope people want to see." And sweetie, I'm 51 years old, and you make me feel like a 25-year-old with everything that we're getting ready to do, build a home, blow this business out of the water, start a pool company business. And we're even talking about you having your own salon and, having the real estate for that. So it's just, you have energized me. I used to come home from working and, being at the college and, making sure that the companies were doing what they're doing. And I would come home and just want to chill. Now it's like, I want to go, 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 go. And, the motto, I'll sleep when I'm dead is true to the term right now.
It's funny because before I met you, I was very depressed, very hurt, very broken. And very damaged. I don't like to talk bad about anybody from my past, because we all have an opportunity to turn our lives around and be different moving forward. So not pointing fingers, not pointing blame to anybody, but I had a very damaged life. And did I question God or did I blame God? No, I didn't. Why did I not do that? Because I've seen him work in ways in my lives that I knew that God was going to be there. Because in Hebrews, he said he never leaves us. He never forsakes us. He's not going to leave me physically, and he's not going to leave me emotionally or spiritually. He's been there this whole time.
Yeah.
And you and I were having a conversation the other night, and I was like, I believe what I believe simply because I believe it. I have a very simple faith. I don't complicate it. I believe the Bible for what the Bible is, and that's it. Yeah. Are there things that I question and want to learn more about and dive into and investigate and, do all those things? Yeah, of course, we all do. It's human nature to do that. But at the end of the day, I just have a very simple faith, and I live by that very simple faith. But having such a broken life and damaged life, and you can't be on this earth more than 20 years and not have some kind of damage. Yeah. You're just not, it's not going to happen, But I focused this year on the word rebuild because you and I have so much together that we can rebuild our lives and make it a fun, flourishing, focused, foundational life that we can move forward with our 5 kids and our 5 dogs. I'm excited about that. I really am. And I'm glad I make you feel young again because you make me feel young again.
You're still young.
Well, I'm not far behind you. I'm only 5 years behind you,
well, true,
so
true.
Not quite 6. But that energy you've brought back into my life. Yeah. I lived a very depressed life before you came along, and it's something. You and I being together, there's an energy here that I love and I get to enjoy every day. And I hope our listeners enjoy us feeding that energy off to you guys. And, we want to feed off the energy of our listeners too, but we want to be able to share and motivate and encourage those who are in the industry. If you own your own business, hang in there, keep pushing, keep dreaming. Don't give up, and but you can't.
You can't
give up. You can't give up.
Sorry, I cannot clear
And to
my
that
throat.
point is restructure. That was keyword number 3. So far, we've got resolution for the new year. We got rebuilding into the new year.
Which we are.
And restructuring. So if you're out there and you're listening and you've got your own business and particularly in the trade industry that we're in right now, but whatever industry that is, and it's time to restructure, you got to take a step back and say, what do I need to do different this year? How can I be more profitable into this new year? Not just in your business, but in your relationships in your business, relationships with your spouse, your partners that help you run the business. Restructuring, the definition I got from that was organize differently.
Yes.
Convert.
And we are. And we are definitely in a restructuring mode, and we're at day 6, and I feel like I've been part of the business more hands-on these 6 days, and even the week that the guys took off, you and I worked, in between Christmas and New Year's. We were in Raleigh teaching classes and meeting with contractors. But to actually, we're just more hands-on, and I want to know where everything is, including every dollar, and knowing where every tree is, where every shrub is, where every paver is, and how we're going to just keep organizing that. So, and we've spent some money on how to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking forward to using those tools. So
well, and I think too, when you restructure, you got to come up with a plan. There has to be a plan in place. Without a plan, there's nothing to focus on and nothing to move forward.
That is one of the most funnest, and even if that's not even a word, is it? Most fun things to do.
Yeah.
Is to plan, is to organize, and guys, I'll be honest with you. I am still a writing the book planner.
Too.
Like I have to have a handwritten
I'm
planner.
Write notes. If you should see my planner at work.
Oh, I have.
I know. I've showed it to you. Like
it's full. It's full.
I write all day long.
And it's when you write something down, you're more likely to memorize it versus if you type it. And so everybody's like, well, why don't you use your cell phone and stuff like that, or your iPad? And yes, I carry an iPad, but 9 times out of 10, I grab that manual calendar because I want to see my days. I want to see where the holidays are. I want to see everything, and it's just so much easier to plan. I'm that way at the college. I have every day planned exactly what the students are going to do. I know when this quiz is going to be due, when this lab is due. You have to know that, and it's fun to know that. I don't know. Maybe I'm a nerd.
Well, but you got to have that, though. Yes, it's fun to do that, but your students are going to have any idea what's going on if you don't have a syllabus prepared for them. Anytime you take a college course, there's a syllabus that tells you this is when this is due, this is when that is due.
This is the contract between me as the instructor, representing the college with student. This is what you have to do to earn the grade that you receive. So
yeah. Well, and it's the same way when you run a business. If you're not organized and planned out, you are just opening yourself for all kinds of mistakes and balls to be dropped. And even as organized and as well organized as you can be, there's always going to be something to fall through the cracks.
Exactly. And we've seen it. We've already seen it. Now, point in what do you say? Point and tell or whatever this. But all right, it was January 2nd. We started that landscape job for a builder, and I had everything planned out. Guess what happened? 2 people called out with the flu.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
that.
I was so mad. I was very upset, and you calmed me down. You're like, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And we made it work. And I had 2 days on the job to get it done, and we still got it done within 2 days. And we just had to work hard. And again, I was there on the job site. It just ran smooth. The 2 guys that called out with the flu, they didn't have the flu. They showed up the next day and they were just fine. But as a business owner, I've always said, if you need 10 employees, you've got to have 20 on the books because you never know who's going to show up.
Well, and how do we not know? It was the day after New Year's Day.
So I guess there was a lot of partying.
Could have been a lot of partying going on, partaking in the parties. But there again,
something we didn't do.
Well, and and I did tell you, we acted like responsible adults. we went to dinner and came home. That's all we did.
Yes.
But back
We
to
didn't
the
even
point
see the
of
ball drop.
no, we didn't. No, we were too busy watching Southern Charm. Our guilty pleasure right now is binge watching Southern Charm, and it's about a group of people in Charleston.
Yeah.
And we're like in season 5, 6 somewhere.
We bought 6 last night, I think.
Yeah.
Season 6.
Yeah.
So.
But no, we didn't watch the ball drop. But back to employees calling out. If you own your own business or own a business, you know that
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. People are going to call out. They're going to have excuses, and unless you have a very strict attendance policy and an employee handbook that they've signed, there's really not a whole lot you could do about that unless you require them to produce doctor's notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's and it's individual to each owner what they decide to do with their business. I work in corporate America. Things are a little different. Things are a little bit more strict. It's a little different world, and I have an HR department that I answer to as being a boss.
Yeah.
And that was something I mentioned to you. You don't have an HR department.
I wear
you
that
are
hat
the
too.
HR
Yeah.
department.
So
you run things a little bit differently when you're self-employed and own your own business. And I'm sure there's things out there to protect you as a
they are.
business,
And some of the softwares that programs that we can actually use in our business helps you with that. We were a part of LMN software for a while, especially during the COVID years, and they had all kinds of resources that we could use. And so I know there's all kinds out there. ADP, our payroll company that processes our payroll, they have all kinds of human resource management tools that we can use. The problem is finding the time. We hire somebody because we need them immediately. We don't have a day that they come into the office and that they fill out paperwork and they watch training and safety videos. Should we have that? Absolutely. But 9 times out of 10, we've got to get them to the job sites so they can get stuff done. And then when it comes to people missing work or laying out, I can't fire them because I need them the very next day. And we're filling gaps, and it's just one of those situations. I think we're going to see a big change in that. Over the next 4 years, I think people are going to become more comfortable working. They're going to want to work. We'll just see what happens in this next administration. But I really do think, because I'm very lenient with my guys.
You are. You're a good boss.
And I have to be. And maybe I shouldn't be so friendly with them. Maybe I shouldn't give them the things that I, allow to do. Got one employee that drives a truck, home every single day, drives it back. He's just, he sits here looking at me. But it's just a situation where I need boots on ground. So I can't really go and actually, fire people because I need them.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I think
we had a minor
technical
difficulty. So, we're still here, guys. Hang tight. Don't know what happened.
We're going to the backup camera.
But
there
we have a
Facebook.
backup camera. It's coming shortly. It's there.
Yeah. What happened to the original camera? What, the battery go dead again?
I guess it goes down faster than make a charge.
Oh, gotcha. So,
Is the charge not plugged in?
it's plugged in.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It could only happen to us, right?
Yeah.
Only could happen to us.
We'll order batteries tonight and make sure that it's right.
And he's trying to adjust our
so we can see the hats. As you
Our
can see,
setup.
if you were watching live on YouTube or Facebook, you can see all of our hats and stuff in front of there, from James River to Walker Mowers, Turf Teacher, Trades Teacher, Jones Strawberry Farm, Jobber.
Scott Horozewski said, "Nice setup, and hope you guys are having a great year so far."
Yeah, man. Hope you guys are.
We are having a great year, and thank you for the compliment on the setup. As you can see, it's not always perfect.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing we had a backup camera set up, because the original camera, the more expensive camera, for some reason just went out. So this is why, it pays to have a technical director behind the scenes, somebody back here running things. I'm thankful my son can do that. You know, this is a big production, and people don't really realize that you know,
the time and effort that it takes.
Yeah, if you could see the lighting and the camera work and the monitor and the equipment and everything that goes into this, you know, it's a big deal, and I'm thankful that we have the opportunity to be able to do all this and have these things to do it with.
That's true.
It's not easy. You know, a lot of people just, you know, think a podcast, you just sit down and you just talk into a microphone. Yeah, you could easily do it that way. But there's just a lot of effort and equipment. Yeah, it's just a lot that goes into it.
And really, you know, guys, we're doing it for the radio. We're doing it for Boots on Ground Radio, bootsongroundradio.com. So make sure you check that out. We should have the app for Apple finished within. All the graphics are done. The setup's done. We're waiting on the higher ups at Apple to approve it. So it's already been approved for the Android phone. So you'll be able to download the Boots on Ground Radio app, and you'll be able to listen live 24/7. We do our shows. We do not play music like we used to with the other station. We play my lectures that I've recorded. You'll hear them live. You hear all the other shows that stream live during the day. So if it's not live, you are able to hear another episode from an original show. So 24/7 streaming live content, information about the trades, about landscaping, about pools, the whole 9 yards. We are an industry or a radio station podcast for all the trades that are out there. And so we're still watching our technical guy get stuff ready.
It's been fun to watch him. Like he's back there like scrambling around trying to get this done. Well,
so we do have the new mics and the new headphones today.
This is all new today. Last week we just had the Shure mics, just the regular handheld mics, and we didn't have any ear monitors in, so it felt weird last week to do it. So we were able to upgrade a little bit this week and get these mics and the headphones in place, and it's much better this week than it was last week. But back to our 4 key words I was sharing. So the first one we came up with was resolution.
Yeah.
The next one was rebuild.
Yep.
Resolution means a firm decision to do or not to do something. So we decided that we would be more intentional in our daily devotionals, and that 6 days in, we've done pretty good. Not saying that we'll, be perfect at it all year long, but we're definitely trying. And then rebuilding, build again after damage or destroyed. Now, you and I are rebuilding together, Elite Landscape, rebuilding Turf Teacher. We're fixing to build in a brand new build of the pool business that we're getting ready to enter into sometime this month. And then
got the Christmas lighting business. We got the Boots on Ground Radio.
Yeah. And then what else are we doing this year as far as building?
We're getting married and building our house.
I know we're getting married in June. It's like
June
6
21st.
months.
Yes. Maybe Mark Davis is listening.
6 months away, we're getting married. And then we're building our home. So our home is going to be up and running, hopefully by the end of the year. So we're definitely focused on rebuilding. And then the next word is relationship. Relationship. You can't resolve, rebuild, restructure without some type of relationship being involved. And that could be for any reason. What's the definition of relationship? I looked it up. I like to do this stuff. 2 or more concepts, objects, or people connected, or the state of being connected. We were built for a relationship. My former pastor's wife said that to me one time, and it stuck with me, that we were built for a relationship. I've never had anybody say that to me, and I was like, she's right. We were built for a relationship.
Yeah. God
created us to have a relationship with him, and in turn created Adam and Eve, who had a relationship together. In all relationships, whether it's in personal or business, there's a relationship involved somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you got to maintain them, and they have to be healthy relationships, and just before my dad passed away, he said, son, don't buy the brand, buy the dealer. Purchase your equipment from the dealer that's going to take care of you. and that's why Sync Farm Equipment in Lexington, North Carolina, they take care of us. Riddle Farm, and Riddle Farm Tractor here in Winston-Salem, they take care of us. And we're buying from the dealer. We're buying the dealer. We're not buying the brand that they actually sell. So even though you can tell what we're buying now, if you get on our Facebook page and everything else. So
well, it's very true about not buying the product, instead buy the dealer. The dealer could have all the different products in the world, but if you don't have a very good relationship with that dealer, you're not going to want to buy from that person.
And if they're not servicing you and taking care of you, and if they don't know your name, and that's, and again, I'll have to bring this up with Farm Bureau. I love Farm Bureau. I spend a lot of money with Farm Bureau.
I used to work for Farm Bureau.
Sometimes I think the only reason I work is to pay Farm Bureau and Uncle Sam, and
you're not wrong.
and more to Farm Bureau, and luckily that is an expense. But you know what? I pick up the phone and they know who I am immediately. There is no question. They don't have to. I mean, everything is right there. And Tyler Stevenson is my agent, and never met him face to face, but I could recognize his voice probably in a crowd of 1 million people. And same thing with his, associate agents. They just know us. And that is a relationship that I am willing to pay more for. I could get workers' comp and general liability a lot cheaper, with some of the, what I call second-rate insurance companies, but I'm not going to do that. It's all about that relationship that I've built with them. And I know that if I have a claim, it's going to be taken care of. And I know they've got my back. So, always Farm Bureau. I mean, I'll never switch.
Well, prior to you, I was an insurance agent. I was licensed North Carolina property and casualty agent until this year, and I let my
You let it.
I let it go this year, not intentionally. I only needed just a couple of hours to renew my licensure because I had well over 40 some hours CEUs. It was just I didn't get the other two in time, and then life was just crazy upside down, and I just never renewed them. I just need to get them renewed. But right now, life is not offering me the time or the availability to do insurance. But to your point, that was a big thing that was taught to me when I worked for Farm Bureau, and also I worked for Johnson Insurance as well. I was an agribusiness farm insurance specialist. I got my certification to sell insurance to farm and agribusiness and agricultural type businesses. And it truly is about the relationship with the agent. You can go anywhere and buy any policy anywhere, but if you don't have a good relationship with your agent, you're not going to want to buy insurance from that person if they're not returning your phone calls when you need to make changes or need to add a vehicle, or you've had a claim on your policy that you need to claim and they're just not staying in touch with you, or if you can't get a hold of the adjuster. And there's just a lot of things that goes into that. And we could talk about so many different products, but it's funny you brought up insurance because, I lived in that world for a few years as an agent, and I understand that. It really is about the relationship. And even now, the job that I have now, being pretty much an operations manager, center manager for Hair Club, it's all about my relationship with my clients. And not just with my clients, but with my team, my staff. You've balancing those relationships can be tough. And I can tell you this year has brought some change in relationships in my office. And that was a tough thing to go through. And sometimes we go through that. Sometimes we have a change in those relationships and positions and things like that. And you just got to stick to it and keep going, because at the end of the day, if you have a dream to build something, you're going to build it. If you lose the dream, you're not going to build it.
That is true.
I like to think I'm a big dreamer. Sometimes I feel like I dream too big. Can you really dream too big?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. They have to be attainable. You don't want to dream something that's never ever going to happen. So I kind of toned it down.
What, dreaming too big?
Yeah.
I've always been a dreamer. My mom used to pick at me all the time about the fact that I was quite the dreamer. Always had a dream imagined. I had big imaginations. when I was a kid. And I still do to a certain point. I don't want to ever lose that part about me, but
well, I've always said this, regret is our biggest poison in life. And so, if you don't at least try for your dreams, you'll regret that. And look at some of the most successful business owners. Look how old the owner of Kentucky Fried Chicken was, Colonel Sanders. What was he in his 60s or even his 70s? That the chicken franchise really took off.
Yeah, he was later years. And I don't remember. You talking about Kentucky, when we went to the Equip Expo on the way back, we wanted some like home style cooking, and so I Googled it, and we were coming. I don't even remember where we were, but
shortly out. We weren't far out of Louisville.
What, 10 miles, maybe 15 miles? But we got do what now? He was 73. So Jared was telling me he was 73 when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they were in their older years. But his wife had her own restaurant, and they took the fried chicken recipe and made it into a chain restaurant. And then, it is what we know today, Kentucky Fried Chicken. But we made that detour off the highway on the way home because we wanted some good food to eat. And lo and behold, we found out we were at Colonel Sanders' personal restaurant that him and his wife owned. And that was pretty cool. The food was amazing. It was amazing. I'm glad we stopped when we stopped.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing thing. I enjoyed it. But yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are. I've always said you're never too old to start over. You're never too old to imagine a dream and make it happen.
Sidney Frank, when he invented Grey Goose, was in his late 70s. So it never ever, don't ever give up.
No, never give up. Never give up. Never give in. That's how I keep my motto ahead of me.
Give in to you.
Well, that's a little different. I give in to you too.
How?
I think they call that relationship compromise.
How?
I don't even know. Should we discuss that?
No.
I mean, anybody else is in relationships, it's always a give and take in the relationship. The key is that you're both not takers, and that you're both, I don't think it would work if we were both takers. No. You both have to give and you both have to take at some point. It's a seesaw.
Yeah.
Usually, and you and I've talked about this before in relationships, somebody is not always going to be 100% for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to have to be the one to pick up the slack to keep things even and balanced in that relationship. So, there might be a day I'm at 80% and I'm functioning, I'm doing great. And then you are at 20%. So guess what's happening? I'm pulling us up to where we need to pull.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be days where
it's never 50-50.
No.
It's, one's always going to be pulling a little more weight, during the day. And, I can tell when you're having a stressful day. So I pick up the pace on, making you laugh or making you smile and trying to make you feel a little bit better, and you do the same. But I very seldom have a bad day.
No, you very seldom have a bad day. I can say that. Now, do you have frustrations in life?
I get frustrated.
Yeah, you get frustrated. You have,
but I never have a bad day, only a bad hour. And I took on that mentality, I don't know, a few years back, that I was determined never to have a bad day, only a bad hours. And so I figured out a way to get through it. I figured out a way to solve the problem, which is what we do as landscape contractors, as general contractors. We solve people's problems. And so you take that same mentality when it comes to life and your relationships, you make it happen. Just like with my nephew. I love the kid to death. I'd do anything for him as my nephew. Me and him butt heads when it comes to certain job sites. But I've taken a step back and I've listened to him. I'm seeing what it is that he has to say. And the kid is amazing on the skid steer. You could not find a better skid steer or excavator operator out there. And he's 21 years old. And so I'm keeping jobs lined up that he's using that, because that is where he is the happiest. And that's where he makes me the most money. When he's happy, he's making me money. So,
yeah. Well, and I kind of think that applies to all modalities of work.
It does.
If you're a happy employee, you get more effort.
You get more done.
You do.
My favorite thing to do in the whole wide world is teach. And that's how that's how I'm, at the college, and that's how I take it into consulting with these other contractors, and, standing up in front of a group of 500 people at Green and Grow Show. It's what I love to do.
And you do it so well. I mean, you really are. You are an amazing speaker. You know how to walk into a room and gain the attention of the crowd. You're very interactive. You're fun to be around. And that was one of the things that drew me to you was your outgoing personality.
The extrovert.
It is. It was the extrovertedness of you that I was attracted to. And, but you said something earlier about you never have a bad day, you have a bad hour, and things happen. And I heard something this morning, and I've never heard this said before, but the word responsibility. I gave the 4 key words: resolution, rebuild, restructure, and relationship. But I think the main key word for all 4 of these wrapped up boils down to responsibility. We all have a responsibility. We have a responsibility in our resolution. We have a responsibility to rebuild things. We have a responsibility to restructure, but we also have a responsibility in our relationships. But I heard this lady this morning, and it's funny. It was on the news this morning when I heard her say this. And it stuck in my mind. I was like, man, that was really good.
She was the one talking about me, right?
Yeah, let them. It was the let them theory.
Yeah.
Melvin Robbins is her name.
Yeah, she was
I
cool.
follow her on Instagram, and I have for the last couple of years, and she has shared a lot that's really helped me. But she said something this morning on TV. She said, responsibility, it's your ability to respond.
Yeah.
It's your ability and how you respond.
Yeah.
We all have a responsibility. Even the Bible says where much is given, much is required. If you are given more things, you have a lot more responsibility. And I've said this to my boys. My boys are 20 and 17. When they got a car and got their license for the first time, I was like, you have been given the keys to a weapon that can kill other people. It is your responsibility to be safe on the road. It also gives you the keys to freedom.
Yeah.
They've got a vehicle. They have the freedom to get in that car and drive up to the store and grab something to eat or go hang out with friends. And I'm thankful that I've got good kids that, I don't have to worry about them doing things they shouldn't be doing. My boys do things and they come home and I know where they are. And, I'm blessed to have that. But that being said, doesn't mean I still don't parent my children. I still have to parent my children. But where much is given, much is required. And with freedom comes responsibility. You can have all the freedom in the world, but you are the one responsible for how you treat that freedom and what you do with that freedom.
True.
It's a responsibility. So we can have all these things, these 4 key words I was talking about. At the end of the day, it's my ability to respond is how I'm going to be able to make it through those 4 things. And I wrote down a set of verses too, because, you asked me this question the other day, and it's funny. It was in my devotion this morning. It's Proverbs 4 verses 20 through 22. And if any of you are listening, and the Bible interests you, this will interest you. It was saying, my son, attend to my words, incline thine ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. He's talking about the Bible. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Whatever a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You think here, whatever you're feeding your eyes, your mouth, your ears, whatever you're feeding into that mind eventually affects your heart. And then before you know it, it all comes out. It comes out in your actions and how you live. And, we are responsible for how we live. We're responsible in how we treat each other. We're responsible in how we handle our jobs and handle our teams and our clients. And we have the ability to respond either in the right way, but we also have the ability to respond in the wrong way. And I think going into 2025, I'm challenging our listeners to their responsibility, how they respond, their ability to respond to the resolution they set for the year, rebuilding their business, rebuilding a marriage. If you're struggling in your marriage, rebuilding that marriage or that relationship, struggling in a parental or child relationship, it's tough.
Those are tough.
Restructuring. Anytime you rebuild, you've got to restructure. You've got to organize it differently. You got to go back to the drawing board and say, well, this didn't work. We're going to rebuild this. I got to come up with a new plan.
Yeah.
But before anything gets done, you've got to have a plan.
Yeah, you do. 100%.
Yeah.
And we have the plan, and now we're just implementing it. And it all, for me, it went back to the handwriting, writing it down.
Yeah.
And that's the way you can see it. Have that checklist. And I want to work with people that has checklists, that, just small little checklist each day. They get it done. Because what happens when you see that check mark get placed?
You feel accomplished.
Yes. You move on to the
one
next
less thing I'm
the
done
next
with.
one.
Yeah. And I do that even in my organizer at work. Every time I get a phone call and it's something I need to write down or put into the notes, because I'm all about notate, notate, notate. The more information you have, the better off you are as a business owner, because you're going to forget details. And sometimes those details can make you or break you in a business. For instance, a client says, well, you quoted me this, but you did this, and I'm not paying for this. But if you have it down in the notes what you actually did, and you go back to the notes, well, I've got here in the notes in the file, this is what we did or this is what we didn't do, then it's no longer their word against yours. Now you've got tangible proof because you notated, you took notes. And I'm constantly writing. And as soon as I get off the phone, and I learned this in the insurance industry, it was all about, document, document, document. As long as it's documented and something comes back, you're less likely for something to bite you if you've got the information written there and it's saved and time stamped. And that's a big deal. I mean, I know I had something come up not too long ago. A lady asked for a refund, and she had claimed that we canceled her last 2 appointments. And I have told my team many times, I don't care what you put in the notes. You put everything in the notes, including their dog's name if you have to. Well, it's funny because this lady claimed that we canceled her appointments, but because I told the girls even the smallest piece of information, even down to the name of the dog, is going to matter. Well, in this situation, her dog was on life support, and she canceled her appointment because she was tending to the dog that was on life support. And because we had that in the notes, it saved us in the end. And, even in all your business, I don't care if it's landscaping, if it's building a home or whatever, if you're keeping good notes in your client relationship management software, whatever you're using, that in the end is going to help you at the end of the day.
It is.
Goes back to responsibility, your ability to respond.
It is.
It's good stuff.
And you know what about time it is?
It's about time to eat.
It's time to eat.
It's about time to eat. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness. That is the only thing that I guess I'm trying to think if we even ate. We ate a bowl of cereal this morning. That's what we have for, yeah. So
Josh Duke Williamson commented, I didn't want him to feel like we were not watching or looking at comments, but he said, I want that maroon Richardson hat. I guess we're assuming he's talking about the Elite landscape hat.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
We have another Elite landscape hat that's not sitting up here. My son actually is wearing it. It's a Richardson hat, but it has a black background. So if you see it, there it is. There's the Elite hat.
We got like, I don't know, did she do 10 or 15 the other day?
I think she only did 10 of these.
And we gave them away like within 5 minutes. Like everybody had them.
And I also want to let Tammy Everhart and Mark Davis know we have your gift cards, and we have.
I thought we sent hers.
No, I sent Crystal's. I didn't send.
No, the one that won the Target was the Navy veteran.
Oh, we did send We did send Tammy's. Yeah.
Nope.
Mark, we still have your stuff. I promise you, we have not forgotten about you. We've got
it's sitting here.
We've got it. It's coming to you.
Yeah. So, Mark Davis, you got your $50 gift card to Tractor Supply, and then Corey, U.S. Navy veteran, we got your $50 gift card to Target and some boots on ground merchandise. So
yeah, of course. We have not forgotten about you guys at all. We've got it. We just got to get it shipped out.
That's true. And a big thanks to our sponsors, Geo Ripper, Cybor. And we got other sponsors coming on board. So, but I think one thing we need to talk about is, everybody was questioning again about our wedding. June 21st. It's going to be at Magnolia. It's Magnolia what?
Magnolia Hill.
Magnolia Hill. So we've already got the date reserved, the down payment, ready to give to them. And, we were talking last night, instead of having a traditional wedding cake, that we were probably going to do a
banana splits.
Yeah, we're gonna do a banana split bar.
But yeah. I think we're gonna do a traditional cake, even if it's just a cake for two people. Doesn't matter. I still feel like we should have a wedding cake. Yeah. But I did like the idea of having a banana split bar, just because you don't see those at weddings, and it's gonna be in June, and it's gonna be hot.
And so that way there'll be a cool, refreshing treat, and the wedding's gonna be at 2:00. So,
and we love banana splits. That's one of my favorite things to eat with you is a banana split. We had one last night at Dario's, and I absolutely enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then, like the night before, instead of doing like a big rehearsal dinner and everything, we're going to have a cookout for all attendees of the wedding, that we're just going to do hamburgers and hot dogs there at Magnolia Hill. And, just have a good time, and then have the wedding, Saturday, 2:00.
Yeah, we're going to make this a fun event. We went back and forth over the fact, do we have a wedding? Do we just elope? Are people tired of us? Should we have another wedding? And we had a lot of people say, do what you want to do. And at the end of the day, we want that.
Yeah.
We're waiting to get married. We still have two different homes, and, we're getting ready to join all this together come June. And we wanted to have a wedding to really kick it off right.
To symbolize it. And make it right. So.
Yeah, so we're going to do it. We're going to do it the right way and hang in there. We didn't want to rush nothing. I think you and I both learned from previous relationships to not rush and take your time, and we have. We've taken our time.
We will have known. We'll have been together over a year by that time.
Yeah, by that time it would be over a year.
So
yeah. My therapist told me, and I thought it was a great piece of advice. He told me this because during my separation and time of divorce, over that almost couple years, I was in therapy almost every week. Well, I was in therapy every week for a year prior to the separation, and the whole year of separation, I was still in therapy up until this past summer, and weekly seeing a therapist to kind of help me, deal with some things and handle some things and just cope. And one of the things that we talked about me dating again. When would I be ready, and how would I do that moving forward? And he said to me, his best advice to me was, when you date somebody for at least 4 seasons. Meaning true, typical 4 seasons. So summer, winter, spring, and fall. And by the time we get married, we will be together for 4 seasons.
That is true.
Yeah. So I do think that that's a valuable piece of advice, 4 seasons to date somebody. Take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Give yourself time and have a wedding. We're going to have a wedding. That's what we're going to do. I think that's what Patricia said on Southern Charm. She was like,
no, what was she saying about?
She was talking about how many engagement rings she had. And she said, be happy and be engaged.
No, so something about, it was something in Mary. Eat well and marry.
Yeah, she was like, eat well and marry.
Yeah, it didn't matter how many times it was anyway. So, all right, guys, I appreciate all of you guys being here. We will catch you next Monday night at 7 p.m. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more organized. We got to get that camera fixed. We got a $5,000 camera sitting there videoing us, and we can't figure out how to keep it running the entire hour.
We're flip-flopping between that and the webcam.
And a webcam. So anyway, guys, I love each and every one of you. You will see the turf teacher in the next lecture. Baby, sign off for us.
Good night, everybody. I wish you well. Don't forget, resolute, rebuild, restructure, relationship. It's your responsibility.